If the power goes out right now, how long could you actually survive in your apartment? Not your house with a backyard and a generator. Your apartment 3 floors up, with a landlord who controls the boiler and neighbors who share your walls. Most emergency advice out there was written for people with a garage, a yard, and a truck. You have none of that. And that gap right there is exactly why so many apartment dwellers get caught off guard when disaster hits. Today we're breaking down why apartment preppers need a completely different survival plan and exactly what that plan looks like. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know precisely what to do when the lights go out, the water stops, or the storm outside turns your apartment into an island. Let's start with the biggest myth in apartment prepping, that you just need a smaller version of a house prepper's kit. Now that's wrong, and it can get you into real trouble. When a house loses power, the homeowner can run a generator outside, store 50 gallons of water in the basement, or even use a wood stove for heat. In an apartment, none of that works. You can't run a generator on your balcony without risking carbon monoxide poisoning in your own unit and your neighbor's units. You don't have a basement to stockpile water, and most buildings explicitly prohibit open flames. So apartment prepping isn't about scaling down, it's about rethinking the entire approach around the unique restrictions of vertical living. Let's talk about blackouts first, because this is the scenario that catches the most apartment residents off guard. A blackout lasting a few hours is an inconvenience. A blackout lasting 2 weeks, which has happened in real ice storms and grid failures across North America, is a survival situation. In a house, you lose your fridge and your lights. In an apartment, you often lose your water too, because many buildings use electric pumps to push water up to higher floors. You lose your elevator, which means every trip in or out means climbing stairs with groceries, kids, or elderly family members. And you lose your heating or cooling system if it's centrally controlled, leaving you completely dependent on decisions made by building management, not you. This is why apartment preppers need battery-powered lighting that doesn't require an open flame, a portable power station instead of a gas generator, and enough stored water calculated by the gallon per person per day, kept in stackable containers that fit in a closet instead of a garage. Now let's talk about water. Even a short water outage is more dangerous in an apartment than people realize, because you're relying entirely on the building's plumbing system. If a water main breaks or the building's pump fails, you could be without running water for days while a house on a well or a private line keeps functioning. That means no flushing toilets, no washing hands, no cooking water. The fix here isn't complicated, but it does require planning ahead. Store drinking water in a rotation system, keep water purification tablets or a small filter as backup, and have a plan for sanitation that doesn't rely on a working toilet. Because that's the detail almost nobody thinks about until it's too late. Winter storms hit apartment dwellers differently too. If your building loses heat during a multi-day freeze, you can't just start a fire, like someone in a house might. You're stuck layering blankets, insulating windows with plastic sheeting, and hoping your unit doesn't develop frozen pipes, which, by the way, become the landlord's problem legally, but your emergency in the moment. And if the roads outside are impassable, you can't drive to a hardware store for a space heater. So having the right cold weather gear already in your closet before the storm arrives isn't optional. It's the difference between an uncomfortable weekend and a genuine health risk, especially for kids, elderly residents, or anyone with a medical condition. Heat waves flip the same problem around. Apartments, especially upper floor units, can turn into ovens during a heat wave, particularly if the building's air conditioning is centralized and gets overwhelmed or shut off to reduce grid strain. Without airflow control of your own, you need backup cooling methods, blackout curtains to block solar heat gain, and a hydration plan that accounts for the fact that you may not be able to just walk to a store if the heat index makes that dangerous. This is exactly the kind of gear most people don't think to buy until the emergency is already happening, and by then it's sold out everywhere. Road emergencies deserve a mention too, because apartment dwellers often depend more heavily on their vehicles for everything, Since you don't have a shed full of tools or a garage full of supplies at home, that means your car itself needs to double as a mobile emergency kit, stocked for the specific climate risks in your area, whether that's winter road conditions or extreme heat breakdowns. And speaking of being prepared before you need it, this is exactly why I put together a list of the specific your apartment preppers actually need: the compact power stations, stackable water storage, and space-saving emergency kits that are built for apartment living, not house living. You'll find that full list linked in the first pinned comment below this video, so you can check it out and start building your kit today before the next storm warning shows up on your phone. Communication failures are the piece most people overlook completely. When cell towers go down or get overloaded during a regional emergency, your ability to reach family or call for help disappears fast. In a house, you might rely on a landline or ham radio setup. In an apartment, space is tighter, so your communication backup needs to be compact. A hand crank or battery emergency radio, a portable charger bank, and a written plan with your family about where to meet and how to reconnect if phones stop working entirely. And then there are the problems unique to apartment living itself. Shared walls that make noise and privacy an issue during extended emergencies. Shared hallways and stairwells that become choke points during evacuations. And landlord or HOA restrictions that limit what equipment you're even allowed to store or use. These aren't small details. They're the entire foundation of why a one-size-fits-all prepping guide fails apartment dwellers again and again. So here's the bottom line. Apartment prepping isn't house prepping in miniature. It's a completely different discipline built around vertical living, shared infrastructure, and space constraints that most emergency guides never even acknowledge. The residents who come through a blackout, a storm, or a water outage, the best aren't the ones with the biggest stockpile. They're the ones who plan specifically for the building they actually live in. If this video opened your eyes to something you hadn't thought about, drop a comment and tell me which scenario worries you the most: a blackout, a winter storm, or something else entirely. I read every comment and it helps me know what to cover next. And if you found this useful, hit that like button and subscribe, because this channel is going to keep breaking down exactly how apartment residents can prepare smarter, not harder, for whatever comes next.